No, let's rather not look inside this shulker. Hello, I'm Tony Spruce, and today's the day we finally gonna tackle a build project I've been looking for so long time. It's gonna be a bit like, but not exactly like the community center in Stardew Valley. It'll make sense once we get there. But first of all, we have to, well, clear things out. And our good friend Carl, that's what I'm gonna call him now, still hasn't despawned. But I want to have the entrance somewhere here aligned to that. And I want to have a small wing towards the left. The cacti have to move then, but that is fine. They're a bit out of place anyway. Where the heck's my scaffolding? Ah, alright, I've lost it in the nether. I remember. Can you envision it just yet? Yeah, me neither. But that's what we're gonna do. Here we're gonna have the entrance hall and the main hall towards the front. And then we're gonna have two wings with two towers on the opposite corners, diagonally of each other. And then in the middle I plan to have maybe a little garden or something like that. So I'd say with the ground floor planned out, we can almost start building, as I have Really? As I was about to say, I have prepared some resources and we still have more in our storage room if we need it. There's just one resource I'm still missing, and that is some pale oak. So I'd say let's quickly gather a bunch of that and maybe let's deal with both of it in a time lapse. So lean back and enjoy. And here it is, the finished community center. At least the outside. I've also added some more details after the time-lapse, in particular all the leaves, as well as more deep set on the roof to tie it better in with my other buildings, and I think it came out great. So why not now give you a proper tour? We have this kind of luxurious entrance section with a large porch, with two sections to the sides where you can, I don't know, hang out and look around and be out of the way. But most important, it was just supposed to be to give it all a ground feeling. And also have two signs here for a proper name, as I don't know if community center, if we're just gonna settle with that. If you have any suggestions what we could call that, then please let them in the comments. They also have this small tower on top of the porch section, which has no interior by the way, as the interior is only 2 by 2 blocks anyway. So way too small to put something significant in there. And let's go inside, into the Hall of Inspiration. Yeah, and that is also pretty much the only room that we will decorate in this episode, as I've realized this project is a much bigger one than I anticipated. The main feature, of course, or the main feature right now, is this wonderful skylight, which is something I don't want to overuse, as it's not too time appropriate for the style I'm going for. Well, then when we go towards the right, yes, we have more roof lights. This is a main hall, or the largest hall of it all, which will be dedicated to the overworld. So maybe build small dioramas, show off all the rare and obscure things we've collected in the overworld, while this wing on the back will be dedicated to the nether. And we will also have a basement, but I only have dug it out halfway and it's not worth showing, which will then show the underground, both of the overworld as well be basically an extension to the nether biome. Up and down you get by this stair in this tower, which is currently not there, but you can get up. You can get up via this scaffolding, but this is only temporary. But it leads you directly out towards the balcony. Where did that go? A large open plateau. I don't know, maybe put some chairs and tables down here. But I just wanted to have a section where you can just go out in the open, be a little bit elevated, so I have a wonderful view towards the garden area that will be in this middle section. And we also have to think about this hole, which of course leads down to the mine shaft. I'll give you a good view of that later. Then we have that said main tower, which currently I have no use for or no idea what to do. Maybe we could put on the top of it, which I should show you probably. I was thinking about having a map room, maybe in the roof, similar to what we have in my very first 1.17 Let's Play series. But otherwise we have this wonderful view on all the surroundings. And if you walk around the outside or on top of the roof, you can see the window decoration I've gone for. It is quite simple. I especially tried to keep the colors to a minimum number, so it's not overwhelming, as we already have with the copper and the bright yellow bamboo roofs and the green leaves a good number of colors in here. And then we also have the small tower, which currently is not even accessible, as it's, not directly connected to the ground, it just crops out. I was thinking of having a bridge from this big tower to the small one, and maybe I'll add one later, but I'm not too sure. If it's a fully enclosed bridge, it would be way too massive. Maybe just an open one, or maybe that is an Elytra exclusive entrance situation. Here we also have a beautiful view inside. I mean, currently it's completely empty, so not too beautiful, but I'm pretty sure it will be. And if we fly now all the way down into the garden area, there's so much space. Can't wait to decorate that. We of course have this hole leading down towards our roller coaster, which leads all the way down to our mine. There's our chest minecart. I love this thing, by the way. It is very efficient. For the most part, it's just fun, but efficient fun. Here we have an open section, and I'm pretty sure there's a term for that, but I don't know what you would call that. A terrace? Is it a terrace? No, I don't know. Not sure if it was something specific with this or if it just serves to get from the outside towards the inside, as this smaller wing would in a way also serve for the overworld, but rather for the underwater area. And of course we have another tower which is currently not really accessible, and also, for the towers for the most part, I did not build them because I have a particularly use for them in mind, but just because that building needed some towers. And now you may be wondering, we have the overworld, including the underground and the underwater, we have the nether. But Tony, what about the end? You just went there? How can you forget about that? Nope, I did not. But the end will go entirely underground and maybe come out somewhere here where there will be a pond. But these are currently just some ideas, and we will see if I stick to them or come up with completely new ideas once I tackle them in the future, as there will be a few more episodes dedicated to this build. And yes, that is the overhanging tower. I'd chosen that design as a full tower plonked towards the ground would have enclosed this section a bit too much. It really is the centerpiece of the whole island. Yeah, I love it already. But there's still something to do today, and that of course has to do with those armor stands, as they are not supposed to stay the way they are, as we have this wonderful book, and I suspect that's what most of you are here for anyway, so let's go to work and maybe much better. Let's maybe center myself, and now it's time for a dramatic transition. Well, editor Toni says not today. But before I show you the finished inspiration haul, just a quick warning beforehand. The next 5 to 10 minutes will show me heavily fangirling, as well as being a little bit vulnerable. Something I usually don't do on YouTube, but I think for this video it's just appropriate. So, just be warned. As it's the case with any form of art, my Let's Plays don't emerge out of thin air, but are rather the result of many years of watching myself, many different artists, many different videos. So I want to dedicate this haul to the 6 artists that had and still have the biggest impact on me as a player, as well as a content creator. For the start makes Zisto. While he was not the first Let's Player I watched in general, not even in terms of Minecraft, he certainly was the first one I watched religiously. I watched all of his Super Hostile playthroughs and especially enjoyed his single-player series Zisto Plays Minecraft, which isn't quite as simple as you might expect from a single-player Let's Play series. And not only was he very influential in how I view the game Minecraft as a whole, in taking enjoyment of that feeling of this big, empty and mysterious world where you don't really know what you find, which of course very much stems from the early days of Minecraft where the world really was very empty and because of that eerie and scary, but that is an image that still I think lives in me and what makes the game so charming in a sense. He certainly also planted my love for Complete the Monument maps. We might have come back to that on this channel eventually, but most importantly for me was the first one to show what a Let's Play really can be with this single-player series. Which, while unfortunately to this day incomplete, he literally ended on a cliffhanger and even though I don't think he ever officially cancelled the series, I'm very doubtful you'll ever see any more episodes of it. But still already it is, I think, one of the best Let's Plays out there. And then we come to Etho. Of course, he must be in this list. How could he not be? As another one of those early Minecraft Let's Players I personally watched, I'm especially fond of his commitment to, as he calls it officially, second season of a single-player Let's Play series. I mean, technically, the second season I think only consisted of a single or 2 episodes, but we don't talk about that. You know, the new series that is still running on episode I don't know how many hundreds, and I'm still catching up. I still have multiple hundreds more to go, but eventually, Etho, I will get there. And that commitment not only goes for sticking to a single world, which, and here comes the part. At the time I just played for myself, I stuck to this one singular world. But when it comes to YouTube, it is challenging, especially if you just start out, because let's be honest, if I look back at my first 1.17 series, if I would have stayed in this world, people would have always come back to the first episodes, which, well, they are just as everyone's first episodes are. Cringy. Not to mention that generally a Let's Play series tends to lose the energy and tends to lose the interest of the viewers over time. Therefore it just makes sense to start over again eventually. But Etho, he just doesn't care about that. He just continues with the world, I don't know for how long, probably forever. And that is a great thing, and maybe one day I will be able to do that myself. But also the commitment to his man cave, living underground, making this place his own, as well as those big and crazy redstone projects are something that have a lasting effect on me. Even though I probably will never do something like a Tamagotchi in Minecraft, it's just not, no. I'm not that cruel to myself. It truly does inspire some of my projects that, while even though have only the fraction of the complexity, still push myself to do bigger and greater things than my comfort zone would allow for. And now we enter the era of Hermitcraft. Why False Symmetry wasn't the first Hermit I watched? That was either Grian or Mambo. Not sure. Hers were the first videos I watched regularly. How she uses grand architecture and bright colors is something that sticks out to me to this day, and you can find in many of my own builds, which, thinking about it, are way more similar to her build style than I realized. And also the clock she holds in her left hand is of course not a random accessory, but rather refers to her Empire Let's Play series. Also certainly one of the best Let's Plays out there and one you certainly should watch if you haven't already. Like Zisto Plays Minecraft, it's another one of those that is very storytelling heavy and shows what you can do with a Let's Play if you just think a little bit outside the box. And with Gem, I stumbled into a new chapter of my Minecraft career, you could say. And it's her you can blame why you are watching this video right now in the first place. One day YouTube suggested to me a cozy looking Let's Play series, something I don't usually watch, and also I've never heard of Gemini Tay. But I felt brave that day. Probably how many of you felt about 14.5 minutes ago, clicking on this video. Little did I know that this would be the beginning of a new part of my life. And I know I sound a bit dramatic right now, but bear with me. It all makes sense in a second. Of course, as you probably can understand if you watch at least one of her videos, she got me hooked, and it took a long time to really understand why her videos felt so smooth and you just have to watch more of them. Eventually I realized and understood that a lot of it is down to editing and how she uses music. This way introducing me to a new kind and a new era of Minecraft Let's Plays with a very professional production, something that just was not heard of 2012. Of course I'm referring to a 1.16 survival series, and one of the many things that makes the series so memorable, that Gem took the time to give the audience a look behind the scenes, as she talked a lot about doing YouTube while also finishing her diploma and how she manages her time, as both of these things are very time intensive. And you need to know at that time, I was just dipping my toes into the world of being a content creator. I just had learned to use Blender, was creating my first models, and one day made the decision to present some of the renderings on Instagram. And yes, I have a whole nother existence on social media which has nothing to do with Minecraft whatsoever. We might talk about that at a different opportunity, but as I was saying, I was just starting out with social media and you know, I always was a person with a strong drive to create and always wanted to do that professionally, but it was always just more a dream than a reality. And now having dipped my toes into the water and hearing how Gem managed to put out a video each and every week despite being in full-time and probably more than full-time occupation with a diploma, I sensed that I would be probably fairly soon in a fairly similar position where I was trying to finish myself with the university while slowly but surely becoming a proper content creator. And I'm not ashamed to admit that there were quite a number of episodes of her where I teared up because in a way I felt seen. After many years of trying to find my way into the content creator world, she certainly gave me the confidence that that is something I could do. Of course, watching Let's Plays for many years, I always thought about doing something that myself, but I never really realized that this would be a proper outlook, a proper career, something one could support themselves with. And at that time I was still not thinking about becoming a Let's Player. All that motivation was solely geared towards my 3D modeling career, which, you know, that is where currently my income comes from, as obviously this Let's Play channel is far from being monetized. The thing about Let's Plays, at that time I still thought, surely it would be fun for a while doing some Let's Play videos, but long term, wouldn't it get kinda boring? Wouldn't it be always be the same? Oh well. Little did I know. And in my defense, that was way before Empires happened, so how could I have possibly known? But already Gem's videos gave me a new idea of what a Let's Play could be. I've mentioned already the professional production, but also the way, especially in single player, how she approached Minecraft with very decorative, very well laid out, but still fairly small builds that seemed to me as one, well, just played every once in a while for fun, much more approachable than mega builds, and ultimately helped me to brush up on my own build skills, which until then very much still looked like 2012, if you know what I mean. And for those of you who were already around for my 1.17 Let's Play, those builds there that look all kinda decent. They were in fact the first ones of this kind I did, as starting as a Let's Play I really pushed myself and tried to apply all those things that I've learned. I might eventually have to give you a tour of my pre-YouTube world. Maybe that would be a good 1,000 subscriber special. We'll see. But then Empires comes along, and as until then I have never watched any of her SMP content, it was only then that I got introduced to this lovely lady from down under. And back at the time I still recall my exact thoughts, almost in exact words, as I just wanted to watch her first Hermitcraft episode to get introduced to her, to see who this other new member is, but that's about it. No more episodes after that. As already watching Falls, Etho and Gem, a fourth perspective would be a little bit much. That's what I thought, but I mean, we could blame it just on this awesome time-lapse soundtrack she uses. I mean, Seriously, this is just such a dopamine boost, this song, it's unbelievable. But I think there was more than that. The way Pearl approaches building. I tried myself to build in her style, and I can tell you from experience, this is just painful. The way she uses different materials for texturing. I think it was Exumer who compared it with painting, and it truly feels like painting. It's just incredible. And both her builds as well as her editing, if there's one word to describe it, then it would be perfection. You see, with the Let's Plays, as we have to be realistic, they are produced in an incredibly short amount of time, usually by only a single person, maybe a separate editor, but of course a resulting video isn't comparable with a professional movie production or TV series. So you have slips here and there where maybe a part of a word gets cut off or a transition is rough or things like that, and really no one cares about them. It's just what you would expect from a YouTube video, and as long as it doesn't detract from the video itself, why should one care? But with Pearl's videos, you don't find anything like that, because everything is just perfect to the last cut. It is just something I admire so much. Her production quality, it's just second to none. And Pearl very much weaponizes her editing skills against you for emotional flashbacks like her finale of Empire Season 1. And last, but certainly not least, is this British man, Joel. And it was only when he joined Hermitcraft, not very long ago, that I really became familiar with him. Of course I have seen him in Empires or the Life series, but to be honest, at that point I was never too invested or never too intrigued by him. But only when I learned who he really was, what a sweet guy he actually is, very contrary to the way he likes to portray himself, I just had to add his videos to my regularly watch schedule too. And especially if you, and I'm pretty certain there will be some of you, who aspire to become Let's Players themselves. If you want to learn how it's properly done, then you shouldn't listen to me, but you rather should watch and learn from this guy, as he really is an expert of entertainment. Sure, I could talk about his stunning builds, but what I really think most about when I think about Joel is just the way how he presents his videos. The amount of time he spends on his intros, and he doesn't do that just because he feels like doing it. That might be what he wants you to believe, but he pretty well knows that having a good intro, having one that just forbids you from clicking away, is the key for a successful YouTube video. And there's certainly a lot I want to try out myself, as coming back to thinking about doing Let's Plays would become boring over time. It only becomes boring if you allow it to become boring. But if you don't, then it's just a field of endless possibilities. Alright, I did it. You probably can't tell, but this was for me quite difficult to record. So be kind to me. And now you know which people inspire my own videos the most, and you will probably be able to spot a lot of details that are directly inspired from one of them. Of course, there are plenty more awesome Let's Players and many more who have been part of my Minecraft journey and have inspired me one way or the other. Way too many to list them all, so why not let me know who are your favorite Let's Players? And who inspires you the most? And that doesn't have to be limited to just Minecraft Let's Players or Let's Players in general. Just let me know who inspires you artistically. And with that, I guess I have to thank you for listening to me and allowing me to be personal. I hope it was interesting to listen to and maybe even a bit inspirational, as these people certainly are. And I should not forget to say that I will link some of the series I've mentioned down below, as I have a feeling that especially the older series might not be so well known anymore. Which is kind of a shame, so make sure to check them out. And maybe you'll join me again next time, when we continue work on Copper Island. So take care, and bye! And the field of view of 60 to... Oh god, no! Are you kidding me? No, we will not do that in rain. Come on. I think of all the empires... Oh, it's nighttime again. Great. Alright, now that we slept the night away, I mean it's quite fitting, thinking about our Empire's backstory, is a 1.16... Was it even 1.16? Let's have a look. Oh, does it really rain again? Come on! For goodness sake, there's a zombie. Oh, for goodness sake. The Wandering Trader is a little bit... Where even is he?